Hello, konnichiwa, I'm Sakura. Today, we're diving into some exclusive original scenes from the Infinity Castle arc that were made just for the movie, and not in the original manga. No spoilers here, so don't worry. We've got tons of awesome extras that you can only experience through the animation, plus a bunch of sneaky little Easter eggs that'll make you go, wait, what? Whether you haven't seen the movie yet, or you've already watched it and want more, this video's got something for everyone. If you're an anime fan, this is a must-watch, so make sure you stick around till the end. And hey, if you enjoy it, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more awesome anime content. Alright then, let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about that very first scene in the movie, when the Demon Slayer core gets dropped into the Infinity Castle. There's actually a totally original moment here that wasn't in the manga, and it's so good. As Iguro and Mitsuri are falling, they actually hold hands. It seriously gave me major Ghibli vibes, like that scene from Laputa. Castle in the sky, my heart was racing from the very beginning. And get this, right after they land in the castle, a demon attacks Mitsuri. But Iguro comes to her rescue. Then they take off running together, and here's the cutest detail. Mitsuri's sword actually turns into a heart shape as she's chasing after him. It's such a sweet and clever way to show her feelings, with that adorable heart-shaped blade. I couldn't handle how cute it was. Now let's talk about some of the extra battle scenes that got added during the Shinobu vs Doma and Zenitsu vs Kaigaku fights. One of the biggest surprises? Murata's fight scene. Yes, Murata. He actually uses water breathing, second form, water wheel against a demon. I was like, wait, what? Murata can do that? It was honestly kind of emotional seeing him get his moment. Now, here's a fun fact for you. Those flashy flame and water effects you see when Hashira attacks, they're not actually happening. It's more like the combination of their sword work and movement makes it look like flames or water are surrounding their blade. And Murata's effect? It's super faint, just a tiny water trail, which honestly felt so Murata, haha. But that's not all. Another cool detail in the battle scenes is the appearance of the same demon that Iguro and Kanemi were chasing back in episode 1 of the Hashira training arc. I couldn't believe they actually brought that anime original scene back here. Like, seriously, props to the production team. That was such a slick way to tie everything together. Now this next one is a major anime original addition, the scene where Lord Kiriya is creating the map inside the Ubuyashiki estate. In the manga, we do see Kiriya working with his two younger sisters and the Kasugai Crows to build a map of the Infinity Castle. But in the movie, they really expanded on it, and wow, it adds so much intensity. You can actually feel the urgency as Kiriya desperately tries to chart out the castle, which is constantly shifting and expanding, literally living up to its name, Infinity Castle. And what really hit me was just how determined he was to find Muzan, no matter where he's hiding in that massive labyrinth. The way he's coordinating everything with such calm under pressure. You'd never guess he's only 8 years old. He honestly carries himself like a true leader of the Demon Slayer Corps. You can really feel the weight of the Ubuyashiki family's legacy, and just how much they've sacrificed for this final battle. It gave me chills. Alright, now we have to talk about the fight between Shinobu and Doma, because wow, there were so many new moves on display. And guess what? Shinobu actually pulls out a brand new insect breathing technique that wasn't in the manga. The name of the move is Dance of the Wasp, Piercing Invitation. Okay, the official English name isn't confirmed yet, but that's a close translation of the Japanese name, Abugai no Mai, Kirisaki no Isanai. In theaters, some fans even misheard it as Scorpion, but according to the bonus materials, the technique is actually based on a horsefly, which makes it even cooler. And man, the way Shinobu's attacks and Doma's ice powers are animated, absolutely stunning. The choreography, the effects, the colors, it's a scene you'll want to watch over and over again. You already know I'm gonna be rewatching that part in slow motion once the movie hits streaming. As we mentioned in the last video, both Doma's castle and Akaza's entrance scene were totally reimagined for the anime, and they look absolutely incredible. Doma's castle? It's a jaw-dropping piece of Japanese-style architecture, almost like a traditional samurai fortress or castle keep straight out of history. And then there's Akaza's entrance. Whoa! As he shows up, you see dragons and waterfalls appear around him. It's super dramatic and totally anime original. And here's something that made me laugh. When Giyu and Tanjiro arrive on the scene, Nakime actually changes the sound of her biwa to match their arrival. Like, what? She's not just a demon, she's basically a theater director at this point. The attention to detail in these scenes is next level. During the fight between Zenitsu and Kaigaku, we get a powerful flashback sequence, and some of the scenes are actually anime original. One moment that really stood out? The scene where their master gives them matching haoris, but in different colors. At first, Kaigaku looks happy, like, yes, I've finally been acknowledged. But then, he notices that Zenitsu's haori is a different color. And his expression shifts. Suddenly, he looks bitter, maybe even jealous. That tiny detail? It says so much about their complicated relationship, and it hits even harder than the manga version. And then there's the scene where Kokushibo gives Kaigaku Muzan's blood, turning him into a demon. In the background, we see the bodies of fallen Demon Slayer Corps members lying around him. It adds a ton of emotional weight. You start to understand what kind of situation he was in, and maybe even what kind of emotions pushed him over the edge. It's heartbreaking, intense, and beautifully animated. Now let's talk about Akaza's backstory, because the movie added a ton of original scenes, and honestly, they hit hard. The one that stood out the most to me, the scene where Hakuji plays otedama while taking care of Koyuki. Otedama is a traditional Japanese game where you juggle small cloth bags filled with beans or rice. It's been a classic children's game for generations, but in this scene it becomes something so much more. This moment was completely anime original. It doesn't appear in the manga at all. And here's what makes it so powerful. As the flashback progresses, the number of otedama bags increases, starting with 1, then 2, and finally 3. It's such a beautiful, quiet way of showing how Hakuji's world slowly grows, how he gains people he wants to protect. And then, when that tragedy happens, well, I won't spoil it here, but the way they use the otedama in that final moment, let's just say there's a lot to think about. Maybe I'll break it down in a future video. There was also another anime original scene where Hakuji drinks water from a well between training sessions. If you know what's coming later in his story, that peaceful moment becomes absolutely brutal in hindsight. Ufotable really does not hold back. Okay, now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough love, the Kasugai Crows. The movie actually added a bunch of extra scenes with the crows, including 2 that were originally shown in the bonus manga pages. And fans of those little extras, you're gonna love this. First up, there's the scene where Inosuke keeps poking his Kasugai Crow, named Dongurimaru by the way, with his Nichirin sword. It's totally chaotic and completely Inosuke. Even though the moment happens during a pretty serious part of the film, I couldn't help but laugh. And then there's the second scene. After the battle with Akaza, we see Giyu's crow, Kansaburo, actually talking to him. Just like in the bonus manga pages, it's portrayed as an old grandpa crow having a full-on emotional chat with Giyu. It's such a small touch, but it really adds personality. And honestly, it made me smile. And finally, the Infinity Castle. Arc Part 1 ends with a chilling line from Muzan himself. This scene is completely anime original. It doesn't appear in the manga at all. I won't spoil what he says here, but trust me. It's cold, it's bold, and it'll send shivers down your spine. You've got to hear it for yourself in the movie. And that wraps up all the anime original scenes from Infinity Castle Arc Part 1. So, how many did you catch? Let me know in the comments. Every one of these original editions felt so carefully crafted, they didn't break the world of the manga at all. Instead, they added depth, emotion, and visual magic that made the experience even better. If you haven't seen the movie yet, make sure to keep an eye out for these scenes when you do. And if you have seen it, which original moment was your favorite? I'd love to hear what stood out to you. I'll be covering more from Demon Slayer and other anime in future videos, so don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!